What?
I find myself yet again in a position understanding that Democrats in Olympia passed some very crazy pieces of legislation or attempt to. I can at least in a general sense understand their point. They're always awful points, but at least I can understand what they're trying to do here. I don't know what this is about. Senate Bill 5312, sponsored by Lisa Wellman, Democrat from Mercer Island, whom perhaps on Halloween don't have your kids go to this person's house. Maybe skip over this one. Because she is pushing a bill, along with other Democratic senators, to reduce penalties for anyone convicted in stings where law enforcement officers pose as minors in order to catch child sex predators. I don't know why it's called net nanny operations, but that's what they're calling it. And our sister station, Car News Radio, points out that the law as it stands says if you're convicted in a case tied to one of these stings, it could include long-term sex offender registration as well as extended community supervision, which if that's all you get, you'd be lucky, right? I mean, this is you getting off lucky. But under this bill, it would shorten the penalties, arguing that it's a victimless crime.
It's saying with no prior record of any wrongdoing with a child, with nothing on your computer, in your home, in your background, all have been scrutinized by the police. And if that's the case, shouldn't there come a time when you can live a life and know for certain that that time can come? It's not a lifetime sentence.
What you mean is live a life where there are no restrictions that could get you closer to kids. That's really what she should say. I love this idea that in her world, the person who's going online and soliciting for sex with, a 14-year-old girl, this is the first time they've ever done it, and they have nothing ever posted on their computer, downloaded on their computer, and they just what?
Yeah, they had a few too many one night.
But using this argument, just her argument, why is it that it matters if it was a kid on the other side of the computer? For her argument. Because the crime is not that serious, she seems to think. The person believes they're talking to a child, okay, which they know is illegal and wrong. Lisa Wellman is saying because it's not a child, it's not a crime, it's a victimless crime. No, dare I say that when you do something like that, and now you say we're going to go easy on those people, you're kind of pushing people in the direction of doing this kind of behavior with less of a disincentive, just like a little bit.
Still go to prison for attempted murder, like
but there's no victim there. Maybe we should let them out, right? You tried, yeah, but they didn't do it. Okay, that's the point, right? I mean, you're telling me that there was no victim. So if I shoot at you, and with the intent of shooting you, but I miss, Lisa Wellman thinks I should get an easy sentence. Now, I suppose in the context of me killing you versus not killing you, I expect a slight difference in the punishment. I don't expect you to go easy on me. That's the difference. And in this case, they're going easy. Now, they say reducing the length of the sex offender registration would mean instead of requiring offenders to register as sex offenders for an indefinite period, the people who are caught in these situations would only have to register for 5 years. Now, again, I'm going to throw this out there. If you're a single woman with a child and you meet a man who you're interested in and you go out on a date, would you be interested in that person if they were on the sex offender list for reaching out to a child or who he thought was a kid online for sex? Yes or no?
No.
Right? No. Well, what if it's the 6th year afterwards? So now that person's off the sex offender list. Would that make a difference to you if you knew that this person had done that? Would you still want to date that person? No, of course not.
No.
There's not a single woman out there. or man for the reverse, right? But we're now taking that away because we want to make sure that the child perv is, I don't know, feeling more comfortable in life so that they can move on, while then putting another child potentially at risk. They also say they would shorten the community supervision because right now it would result in a lifetime of supervision. But the proposal would say you cap it at 3 years, which is odd. So you're on the sex offender list for 5, but you're taking the supervision off at 3. Okay. I mean, don't we feel bad for people like Colin, who said he was arrested during a net nanny sting?
Right now, the net nanny operation is regularly abusing their authority, manipulating evidence, lying to the public and the courts, and even the legislature about how they operate, and it is resulting in unlawful arrests and wrongful convictions.
Oh, the poor guy. Poor guy.
Why do bad things happen to the good people?
You know, it's really a shame. Life is just so unfair. Life is so unfair. Lisa Harmon is a King County deputy prosecuting attorney. She points out that whether or not a child was actually harmed doesn't change the intent of the child perv.
The fact that sometimes it is a real child and sometimes it is not does not change the fact that person formed that intent and took actions to sexually abuse that minor.
Okay, do me a favor and look this up. I could have sworn that last year, and maybe I'm misremembering, the legislature tried to or did successfully ban images of children sexualized when they're cartoons, that or AI porn of children was being outlawed. Did they not try to do that? And that was being pushed by Democrats and Republicans. And I thought it was last legislative session, AI pornography of children. There was going to be some sort of push. Maybe they just talked about it and they didn't introduce the legislation. But how is it that in that circumstance, even though it's a quote unquote victimless crime, they would punish, but not here?
It says, last year, House passes bill preventing harmful disclosure of intimate images. Today, the House passed Bill 1999, a piece of legislation aimed at safeguarding minors and individuals from the harmful dissemination of fabricated intimate images.
Okay. But I thought that it was a victimless crime. Because they're talking about it in the context of trying to have sex with the child when it's an adult on the other side of things, a cop. Okay. Because again, you got these poor guys like Brian. He says his sentencing was disproportionate to his crime.
I'm someone with no prior sex offense history and who has never harmed a real child. You might think that would matter when determining registry requirements.
No, you wouldn't, because you tried to have sex with the child if he was the victim of a net nanny operation, correct? That's what this is. Again, your intent does kind of matter. And here's how we all know that, and here's how it's applied. I shoot at you with the intent to kill you. That's one charge. If I shoot in your general direction as an accident, I'm not going to be hit with the same charges, correct? Because intent matters.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, my.
And supervision length, but it doesn't. Sting offenses are the only non-contact victimless sex offense that carries a life sentence on the registry and on community custody. In comparison, all other non-contact sex offenses and even most contact sex offenses receive just 1 or 3 years of supervision. This disparity puts an unjust burden on people like me who are ready to move forward.
His case comes from 2016, this guy. I'm just looking up this person's background. It says he appealed in 2020 his convictions for 2 counts of attempted first-degree rape of a child arising from an online sting operation. Sounds like a good guy.
Just misunderstood.
Yeah, minor attracted people are people too. Isn't that what they say on the left? Did you ever think we would get to the point where Democrats are doing something like this? And the answer is yes, because they're the ones who are releasing or trying to release sexually violent predators into communities without the public really even knowing about it.
Yeah, I mean, the logical slope would lead us here.
Yeah. And what is the next logical slope then? Actual physical contact, right? using their logic, the next reasonable slope or part of the slope would be, well, maybe we should lower the age of consent.
Yeah.
Until we just get rid of it completely.
I cannot move home or visit most public spaces. Most people are even told that they cannot go to college, a gym, or fast food restaurants and drive-thrus because a minor might be there.
Okay. I mean, let him get the McFlurry. I'll give it. How about, is that a good compromise? You can use the drive-thru. I think that's a reasonable compromise.
He gets a Happy Meal, though, red flag.
Well, yeah. Obviously, if he gets a Happy Meal, you're going to want to call his parole officer. But can we at least acknowledge this is insane that we actually have to have this conversation?
It is, yeah.
Okay. But let's listen more to the poor victim.
Going on a date without scheduling meetings with both my CCO and treatment provider for them to disclose my conviction to the person in advance would put me back into prison for 18 to 60 months.
Yeah, I'm going to defend that point. I don't think many people want to date someone who, was involved in a nanny sting. I think that's reasonable.
All my private text messages and emails and internet searches will be surveilled with spy software for the rest of my life.
Oh. You mean they're taking some precautions to make sure that you don't follow through with what could potentially be an urge that hurts someone? And just looking at some of the details here of the case, of the accusations originally, it was part of an undercover operation where a law enforcement group, one of the net nanny operations, posted an advertisement on Craigslist titled Family Playtime.
Oh.
It stated, mommy, daughter, daddy, daughter, mommy, son, you get the drift. If you know what I'm talking about, hit me up and we'll chat more about what I have to offer you. And according to the appeals court, this guy responded to the advertisement via email and began texting with a person whom he believed was Hannah, a mother of 3 children. You know where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Poor guy. I think we should all take a moment to thank Lisa Wellman from Mercer Island for fighting for someone who, the forgotten victims. The forgotten victims.
I would argue that, even for the offender's sake, it should be a long sentence. If you've gone down that dark of a path, you need to go away for a little while.
100%. It's just, these are kids. Welcome to the Democratic Party in Washington State, folks. This is where we live. This is where we live. And again, this is not some crank lawmaker, okay? This isn't one of the lawmakers who, was able to cheat their way into the state legislature because they had a name that was similar to someone who was, previously in office but then died and no one knew about it. That's The Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy. Great film. And this also has 3 sponsors. And so we should give them some love, I think, right? Because I don't want people to think that it's just Lisa Wellman who is this hero to the downtrodden, right? I think we should give
it's like getting an assist in basketball.
Yeah, 100%. I think we need to really shout out the people who are helping this perverted, disgusting bill move forward. State Senators Noelle Frame, most notable for her wish to tax the wealthy, Twina Nobles, the nut job from Tacoma, and then Claire Wilson, who's got weird glasses. That's how I remember her, like a Cruella de Vil glasses. Yeah. Imagine, by the way, feeling comfortable arguing on behalf of this bill in public.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awkward for you? Ugh.
I know what videos I'm going to be watching over the weekend. Let's get all of it, put it online, and let's make sure people actually know that this is happening. Oh, my gosh.